just look at what we made today. I'm super proud of it. I think it's absolutely adorable. Hi friends, and welcome back to the channel. This is Seats of Sanctuary and I am Brooke. And in the month of December, and I may carry it out throughout the year, I want to introduce bread. Bread making 101. Let's make bread together. When I first started my homesteading journey over a year ago, I was so overwhelmed by all of the new things to learn. So I tried tackling it one thing at a time, and that's what this channel is about. I don't know everything there is to know about homesteading, and I'm sure there are other channels out there that have been doing this for years and their skills are refined. But the fun part to me in homesteading is the adventure and the learning and the process of it. So I would like to introduce to you new breads each week so that you can try it out at home for yourself and see just how easy it is to make everything from scratch on your own. So in today's episode, we are going to be making Cheesecake Factory brown bread. And then we're also going to make a Christmas tree. So without further ado, let's get to making bread. And thank you so much for joining. If you don't mind, go ahead and hit that sub button. And if you enjoy, sorry, my animals, all of a sudden I'm recording, so they decide to run around the house like crazy, just like kids. Anyway, if you find this enjoyable or entertaining, or heck, you just like me, go ahead and hit that like button. It does so much to send my small channel out to the algorithm world, and I'd appreciate it so very much. So, like I said before, let's get to making some bread. Okay, so in order to make our Cheesecake Factory bread, we are going to need 1 1/4 cup of bread flour. You're going to need 1/4 cup of honey. You're also going to need 2 tablespoons of molasses, 1 3/4 cup of whole wheat flour, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 1/2 tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder, 2 tablespoons of instant dry yeast. So in our 1 1/4 cup of water, I'm going to go ahead and add our 1 packet of instant active dry yeast. You know, little starry star. Okay, so I'm going to wait to watch that bubble up. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of softened butter and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Once we have all of this combined, we're going to work it for about 7 to 10 minutes. If you're using a mixer, if you're using your hands to mix it up, then you would probably double that. Okay, so our yeast is all bubbly and yeast-like, so I'm going to go ahead and pour my water and my yeast right on in there. And then I'm going to place this on 3 or 4. Oop, I got to plug this in. There we go. So like I said, I'm going to work this for about 7 to 10 minutes. Once this has mixed for the 7 minutes, it's all combined, we're going to do a 2-hour rise. The first 1 hour, and then after we let it rise for an hour, we're going to break it apart. Okay, so our dough is mixed, and see how it's not sticking to our mixing bowl? That's what we want. So we're going to go ahead and put this somewhere warm with a nice cloth over it and let it do its first hour rest. Okay, so our dough is done doing its first 1 hour rise, and we're going to go ahead and take it out now, and we're going to divide it into 4, and then we're going to roll it into our bread shapes. and we're gonna let it rise again for another half hour to an hour. Yeah, so let's get doing that. So I'm just taking the dough out now that it's risen for an hour, and I'm gonna divide it into 4 sections. You can use a scale if you'd like to make sure each one of your sections of dough is at the right or exactly equal. I don't have a kitchen scale yet, so we're gonna do without. So after I divide each one, I'm going to take it and flatten it a little bit like this, and I'm gonna roll it in on itself and kind of pinch it in, and then I'm gonna give it a nice even roll. Looks like a little brown log. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set it on my parchment paper and go do the next of them. And then we're going to let this rise for another half hour to an hour. Okay, now I'm just going to place my warm rag back over top of it and put it somewhere nice and warm. And then we'll come back to it. Okay guys, so our dough has risen, our little brown logs. And we're gonna go ahead now, and I'm going to add I'm gonna go ahead and take my little logs right off of here for a second. And I'm gonna dust the bottom of my pan with a little bit of corn flour. Like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my little loaves and put them right back and kind of just move them about to get the corn flour on the bottom. It's not necessary. You don't have to do this step. It's just the extra part of it. The bread making has already been done. And then you're going to take a little bit of your quick oats and you're going to put them on top. Just look how beautiful those are. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stick these in our oven at 350 for 25 to 35 minutes. Make sure you keep an eye out on them because it will differ depending on if you're using a dark tray or a light tray or glass, if you are cooking in gas or electric. Mine is gas, so it will probably only take about 30 minutes. Look at this beautiful bread, guys. But they are super beautiful and I can't wait to taste them. Add a little bit of butter to it. It's gonna be so yummy. Okay, in order to make your easy puff pastry dough, you're going to need 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. You're going to need 1 whole stick, which is 1/2 cup, and 5 tablespoons of another stick of butter. And then you're going to need 5 to 6 ice cold teaspoons of butter. And then you're going to need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now we want to try to do this quickly because we do not want our butter to warm up. We want it nice and cold. And place it on in with my flour. Now that we have all of our ingredients in our food processor, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid back on, and then I'm going to pulse the shop until it's completely blended, and I'm going to add my teaspoons of water in slowly at a time. Okay, all of our dough has now clumped together and has come off the sides of our processor. We're going to take this out, and very quickly, because our hands are warm, our body is naturally warm, we don't want to melt our butter because that's what makes everything fluffy, and it's the pastry part. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap this up. Okay, we're almost ready to start making our Christmas tree. I'm going to get our puff pastry out of the refrigerator. We're going to roll it and cut it out. Now, when rolling out your puff pastry, make sure you either flour your rolling pin or spray it up with I'm using olive oil. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to stretch my dough out. Okay, so I have my puff pastry all rolled out. There are bigger versions of this tree, but I'm going to be making a medium-sized tree because we really don't need all those goodies hanging around the house, especially with as much as I bake. So I'm going to show you how to cut your Christmas tree. Go ahead and I'm going to grab a knife and I'm going to cut this in half. Okay, so I cut a triangle. Doesn't look like a Christmas tree yet, but it will. I'm going to take the rest of my dough and I'm going to cut out 2 more exactly the same so we can have one for now and one for the freezer. Well, I couldn't find my star, so we're going to put a heart on the top of ours. I'm going to cut out 4 of these. And then while we're making our filling, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put all of this back in the refrigerator because I don't want it to get too warm. Okay, guys, so I just took our little tree out of the refrigerator. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to start and just cut down the middle. From the middle, like this. And I'm going to do that on each one of these triangles. And I decided instead of cinnamon, that seems to be the popular one, or Nutella, I thought I would go ahead and add some raspberry. I made some of the best raspberry jam I have ever tasted. And yeah, we put it on everything. So I'm just going to paste it up. And I'm going to add it on top. And then I'm just going to take and twirl 2 of each one of these strands together. I'm going to place this on a cookie sheet with parchment paper and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar on top and baste it with a little bit of butter to help brown it up. And we're just going to put this in there for 7 to 10 minutes. It won't take long because it's a small one. So I've got my sheet, my pan out here. I'm going to add some butter to the bottom of this because I really don't want this to stick. Look how pretty that looks. And we're going to add a little heart to the top of it. Okay, look how pretty that is. Now we're going to sprinkle some sugar on top and I'm going to baste this with a little bit of butter. Okay, now we're going to put this in our oven for, oh, it's so cute. We're going to put this in there for 7 to 10 minutes and then I'll catch back up with you. Besides my dirty dishes, my kitchen's giving me total Christmas vibes. So aesthetically pleasing right now, at least to my eye. Okay, what a fun episode this was today, at least for me, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I'm going to go ahead and pull out our raspberry Christmas tree, and this bread looks just so amazing. It's so soft and moist and it tastes just as good. I can't wait for you to see this tree. It's super duper cute. Friends, just a look at what we made today. I'm super proud of it. I think it's absolutely adorable. I think it might need about 5 more minutes just to brown up a little bit more, but How cool is this? We just made this raspberry Christmas tree and we made this beautiful cheesecake factory bread. And this is the first time I've ever made either one of these. So attempting things on your own, it might not be perfect, but it's so perfect that you are trying. Trying is what matters. Enjoying it, having fun, branching out, trying new things. I hope that you try one of these recipes too. And even if it isn't successful, say it's a blurb and you mess up, you have just learned new skills. So until my next upload, thank you all so much. Bye for now.